Welcome to our Jesus meditations this morning. We'll begin with the invocation from Piro Murshid Inayat Khan, and we'll just be saying it in English this morning. I'm not going to post it. I was going to say, do you need me to put it in the chat window? But I don't need to do that. Towards the One, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of guidance. Amen. Okay, so we'll begin with attuning ourselves to the Aramaic language of Jesus. It was his native language. We'll go through the elemental breaths, but we'll be using Aramaic concentration on each breath, just getting ourselves grounded and attuned to the elements that make up our being and our world around us. And so we'll start with the breath. Oops. Just going to get the words in there for you. We'll begin with the breath of earth, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Breathing in Allah. Allah is the source, the divine, and breathing out Ar-Ah, which is the Aramaic word for earth or individual being, particle. So again, breathing in through the nose, Allah. Breathing out through the nose, Ar-Ah. Just feeling that sense of rootedness and feeling the support of your bones, ligaments. Feeling that connection with the earth that has made up the bones of our ancestors. Feeling that earth becoming alive through us and through our breath. We'll move to the breath of water, breathing in through the nose, Allah. Breathing out through the mouth, Maya. Maya is the word for water, the flowing of life. Again, breathing in through the nose, Allah. Breathing out through the mouth, Maya. And tuning to the flexibility in our muscles, the blood running through our vessels, making that water, that element of water, become alive in us through our breath. Our connection with the water all around us through the rain, the mist, the snow, the flow of life. tuning to the element of fire. Breathing in through the mouth, Alaha. Breathing out through the nose, Nurra. Nurra means fire or light intelligence. Again, breathing in through the mouth, Alaha. Breathing out through the nose, Nurra. Feeling the inhalation into that heart center and into the solar plexus. Feeling the heat and the warmth of our bodies and tuning to the warmth of the sun that's around us. Making that element of fire alive through our breath. Tune to the element of air. Breathing in, Alaha, through the mouth, and then breathing out, Ruha, through the mouth. Ruha is that air or spirit, holy breath. Feeling the air on our skin, opening our pores, feeling the air moving inside of us and all around us. Breathing in through the mouth, Alaha. Breathing out through the mouth, Ruha. We'll do the breath of ether, just breathing naturally, a refined breath, either through the nose or mouth or both. And just attuning to Alaha, which is the source, the essence of each of these elements. Breathing in Alaha and breathing out Alaha. And just thanking the elements that are within us and all around us. And attuning again to that source and essence of Alaha. say the prayer of Jesus or the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic first, and then I'll also put in an English translation or poetic rendition that Sadi has put together, just so that if you're not as familiar with this prayer, you can have a sense of what we're saying. So put that in there. Avon Dabashmaya, Net Kaddish Shamal, Te Malchutach, Nahwe Saviana Chaikana, Dabashmaya Afbar A, Havlan Wachma de Sunkanan Yamana, Washwaklan Chaubain Wachtahain, Aikana Dafkanan Shvakan the Kayobain, Wela Talan Lanashuna, Ela Patsan Min Bisha, Metol de Lachi Malkuta, Wahaila Wateshbuta, La Alam, Amin, Amen. O birther, father, mother of the cosmos, focus your light within us and make it useful. Create your reign of unity now. Your one desire acts through ours. As in all light, so in all forms. Grant what we need each day in bread and insight. Loose the cords of mistakes binding us as we release the strands we hold of others' guilt. Don't let surface things delude us, but free us from what holds us back. From you is born all ruling will, the power and life to do, the song that beautifies all. From age to age it renews. Truly, power to these statements. May they be the ground from which all my actions grow. Amen. So as I'm sure most of you are familiar that this Aramaic Lord's Prayer, or just the Lord's Prayer, is the cornerstone prayer of Christianity, and really it's an answer to a question that the disciples had of Jesus, of how should we pray? How do we attune to the divine in our lives as we move about in our everyday lives and staying in tune with the infinite? And so it was my desire to kind of go to start these meditations out with going through each line of this prayer, and we'll eventually probably move on to other Aramaic teachings and phrases of Jesus, but this definitely seems like a foundation. So last week we worked on attuned to Abun Dabashamaya, the first line of the prayer. And so I wanted, before we move on to the next line, I just want to open it up for any reflections or questions or anything that might have come up during the week as you worked with this prayer. I think before we stop the recording, so you'll feel free to share, I'll go ahead and share my some of my reflections or experiences with it. A lot of times, as many of you know, I do my prayers as I'm walking in nature, and I was noticing, the movement that we did was, Avun, Dabashmaya, feeling that connectedness with Source, bringing that in and feeling that in the heart, and then feeling the Dabashmaya, that connection with the universe, with the heavens that's right here in our lives. But I also was noticing that I really felt an energy of Avun coming from the earth and coming and rising up. So it's not always about bringing the energy we think of, the that God energy, Allah is above us, which is understandable and for good reason. But I also noticed feeling a lot of that energy more in my womb center, and feeling a connection too with the phrase Bismillah that we do so often in our Arabic practices, and how similar the energy of Bismillah and Avun Devashmaya. I really liked feeling that connection, and the sense of really beginning every thought, every movement, every breath with that connection with the source, Avun, with our creator. So I think we'll stop the recording for a minute and just see if there's any other sharings. Put this in the chat window for you. So the next line of the prayer is Nikodesh Shemok, which is in the King James Version, hallowed be thy name. Hallowed is a fancy old English word, I think meaning holy and divine. So, and Shemok is similar to that Dabashmaya that we had in the line before, meaning name. So I'm just going to read a few attunements from Sadi, from this book, and then also a little bit from this one, because I think there's some good jewels in both of them. And then we'll work with some contemplation and meditation with this. So the prefix root neth shows something being offered or allowed to a person. We could say simply, let some process happen, but understanding that we are not controlling the process. The next part of the word, Kaddish, like kadosh in Hebrew and kudus in Arabic, is usually translated holy. Let's look at the ancient Semitic roots of the word. Kud, or qd, good, that which creates a center, a point around which something pivots. Osh, this point opens space around it, clarifying or setting a boundary. Symbolically, this is like a dot expanding into a circle, a point of light illuminating an area around it, or a seed unfolding into a plant. What is holy for us in this sense clarifies or illuminates what we actually do. That is, what we leave space for to grow in our lives. What we value and spend most of our time on is holy in the way Yeshua uses this word. The prayer that asked that Shemok, your Shem, the light of sound of reality that connects all communities, human and those of the natural world, provide the centering, focusing light of our lives. This profound vision reveals a very different view of life from that of popular culture today, which obsesses about the personal self and its independence. This line of prayer suggests we regularly leave space for quiet contemplation, particularly when we start a new day or set out in a new direction. Each time we plant a seed, whether in a natural garden or the garden of our lives, we need to leave space for it to grow. We nurture it in the darkness with love until it sprouts at the right time and place. This feels like a nice, appropriate phrase for this time of year when we start to think about what seeds we're planting and getting ready for spring, but holding it in that holy place in the soil till it's ready. So just a little more from this Prayers of the Cosmos, because I think there's a little addition that I think is a nice attunement. The roots of Nakadosh also evoke the images of clearing or sweeping and of preparing the ground for an important plant. In one of the most beautiful pictures presented by the Aramaic, the roots show a person bending his head or her head over the special place where the seeds are sown, indicating also that one bends over the heart and plants devotion and perseverance at the same time. The inner shrine by which God's name is hallowed can be developed only through letting go, releasing of some clutter inside that keeps us too busy to be silent and receptive to the still small voice. The prayer also leads us to consider our feeling heart, the place that mystics of all paths have called the inner temple. Jesus recommended going to this heart shrine whenever we pray. Focus your light within us and make it useful. So for our embodied practice, we'll intone the name aloud. I don't know how many times, maybe 33 or so. But as we do this intoning, I invite you to bow forward, Nakada Shamak, into that heart center, and clearing out the space of that heart center, getting it ready for planting the seed, and then sitting back up staying in that heart center, Nakada Shamak, and letting our heart become like a clear mirror, or you could imagine it as a settled lake or a piece of some water that becomes more and more calm as we do this practice, so that we can create that sacred space that we can reflect the divine. And so we'll do that for a little while, and then we'll just move into doing that movement just on the breath, and then we'll have some time for just silent meditation with this phrase. Nikadeshama, 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 moving into more of a whisper. I invite you to just move into the breath, continuing with this movement, focusing on the exhalation, moving forward into the heart, clearing the space, and then leading back, still focused on the exhalation, clearing out whatever is not needed, becoming a clear mirror for the holy, for the divine name. If you haven't already, you can eventually let go of the movements and just sit in that heart center. We'll have about 5 minutes more of silent meditation. Cool. Stop the recording again for a moment to allow anyone to share any reflections or questions are welcome as well. So yeah, I just encourage you if you wish to incorporate this into your daily practices, and it does seem to be a very nice one at in the beginning of the day, and just clearing that space and letting that light focus on that that empty holy space. So again, thank you all for being here today. We're gonna close with another prayer by Piro Murshid Inayat Khan. It's the prayer Peer. I feel like this is, for me, a really sweet prayer to end with because I often am attuning to Jesus when I'm saying this prayer. So you can attune to any master you wish, as we say together the prayer Peer. Inspirer of my mind, consoler of my heart, healer of my spirit, thy presence lifteth me from earth to heaven. Thy words flow as a sacred river. Thy thought riseth as a divine spring. Thy tender feelings waketh sympathy in my heart. Beloved teacher, thy very being is forgiveness. The clouds of doubt and fear are scattered by thy piercing glance. All ignorance vanishes in thy illuminating presence. A new hope is born in my heart by breathing thy peaceful atmosphere. O inspiring guide, through life's puzzling ways, in thee I feel abundance of blessing. Again, thank you all for being here. We'll resume these sessions on March 12th. I encourage you, if you wish, to join Mirabai next week for her kinship coffee at this time on this same Zoom. And yeah, I hope that Nikada Shamak continues to be with you in the next week or so. Thank you.